Your match with Taz. Did you guys? How much heat did you guys legitimately have with each other?
Not really like. There was heat, but it wasn't like fighting heat. He was jealous of me. I was jealous of him. You know, so neither one of us really wanted to give, but one of us had to give, which was me. You know, to make the show as much success as we could. But there was real heat, but not like fighting heat. You know what I mean?
Competitive.
Yeah, yeah.
What were you jealous of him?
That he lived so close to Paulie, because he got to go to the studio every week, and I lived in Michigan, so I could only go to the studio every now and then. But he was always, you know, close to Paulie, to where he could make things go his way if he wanted to, or if, you know, there wasn't no real heat. You know, I didn't hate him. You know, you just, you know, a little jealousy.
Did either of you go extra stiff?
No, we wrestled like we always did. It was always stiff.
Were you upset about having to do the job? And then did you ask for a release after this?
No, I didn't ask for a release. I didn't really want to do the job, but I had to be talked into it because, you know, who wants to lose? You know, nobody really wants to lose, you know. But I didn't ask for no release. Where'd you hear that? You heard that?
Our researchers.
No, I didn't ask for a release for that. It was later down the road I asked for a release, but I didn't get it.
Who talks you into doing the job?
Taz. Or no, I mean, Paulie.
Paulie.
Yeah.
The Messiah.
The Messiah, yeah.
Now, you're aligned with RVD and Fonzie at this show. Talk about Bill.
So that was part of the bait, was after I did this match with Taz, that Fonzie would come to my side, and because I needed someone to talk for me, you know. And then Fonzie fit in just perfect. So after the match, I think it was Fonzie turned on him, right? Turned on Taz?
Well, eventually, yeah.
Yeah. So that was part of the bait for me to do what they wanted me, for Paulie to do what he wanted me to do, was I was going to get Fonzie out of the deal. We all were. I was number one, all for it.
What did Funk mean to you, all of you, at this time? His role was very significant.
Well, see, again, like, he was so close to my family, it's kind of biased for me to say, but he gave credibility to us, you know, because he was the legendary Funk. So when he wrestled our style, he changed his style. You know, he went from being, you know, Terry Funk the legend to Terry Funk the working motherfucker. You know, he worked his ass off when he didn't really have to. He could have just got by on his name, but he worked just as hard as the young guys.
You think Funk was honored to be given that spot?
I think so. Actually, he teared up, yeah.
First pay-per-view comes to a close. Everybody's jacked up. There's got to be a big party somewhere, right?
Yes, there was.
Where's that?
My motorhome.
Right outside in the parking lot?
In the parking lot, yeah.
Who attends?
Almost everybody. Like Tommy Dreamer and Taz, those guys weren't really much parties, but Tommy Rich, you know, and Terry Funk was there, and New Jack, of course, Mustafa, Coronis, and Perry Saturn. All the bad guys were there.
Smoky?
Pretty smoky.
In the room?
Yes. It was very smoky. He's one of the best workers I've ever worked with.
Really?
Yeah, not just for being, like, everybody goes, well, he's good for a big guy. He's good for any size guy, you know. Right. He could have been big, small, it didn't matter. He was good no matter what.
Did he get along with everyone pretty much in the locker room? Another good fit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you remember working the big convention hall in Asbury Park? Yeah, the big
it was
open
a big
space.
Old building.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. It was right next to next to the ocean, right? Next to the water.
Right across from the. It's on the boardwalk. On May 10th,
It looked like a prison. It felt like a prison.
it did, especially with only the 1,200 people. Only 1,200. 1,200 is a good crowd,
jammed,
but
yeah.
because of everything else, it must have felt like almost like working outside.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like I think there was like a door that was open, so that the air came in. So it was cool. It was, like I said, it was like a prison, like what our company was about. You know, like a bunch of bad guys fighting each other. Wolfie is crazy. Jamie is crazier. And if Jamie didn't know he was only 5'8", he thought he was 10 foot tall. You know, he was bigger than life, or he thought he was bigger than life.
Yeah. Did they have?
Believe it or not, Wolfie was a little more down to earth than Jamie, but they're both crazy.
Well, we worked with Jamie, so
So you know about it.
I know it. Yeah. Did they have attitude problems when they came in?
No, I don't think so. I got along with them very good.
Okay.
Both of them.
Joey Styles in recent years has had nothing nice to say about Jamie. Do you know the source of the heat?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Jamie might have slapped him or something, but probably didn't deserve it. But I didn't know there was any heat.
Yeah, I mean, it's reported that Styles actually challenged Dundee to a fight anytime, any place.
Really?
Who would take who?
I don't know. I heard Joey Styles is a karate guy, right?
Is he?
I heard is he? Anybody help me? Well, I heard he like trains karate or whatever, or judo or something. I think it'll probably be a pretty close fight. I'd have to give it to Joey Styles. Taz and Perry Saturn was the trainers, and they ran those guys over the coals, like Roadkill and Danny Dorian and Chris Chetty. They worked those guys pretty hard. They deserved their spot. They deserved a higher spot, actually.
I talk about Danny Dorian.
What do you want me to say?
Get along?
Yes, he was a good guy, great worker. He was very underrated only because he didn't have the big muscles, but he had all the talent. And he could talk, and he had good experience and presence and all that. The only thing that hurt him was he didn't have the big muscles. There was no bad blood or nothing like that. You know, it was just time for him to move on. You know, but when it was time for me to move on, everybody healed me.
But did you guys feel abandoned?
No, I didn't. I didn't think so.
Did he catch heat?
Probably from from a few of the guys, probably from Paulie, I'm sure. Because he wasn't Raven before he came to ECW. He was before that. He was Scotty, whatever.
Scotty the Body.
And then he debuted. I think he debuted as Raven with ECW. And I thought it was a cool gimmick because, you know, the hair, the look, the way he worked, you know.
This is the show where the lights go out 3 times, and you're in the ring, and then Rob's in the ring, and then Jerry Lawler's in the ring. Did you know anything about the negotiations to bring Lawler in, how that came about? Are you starting to suspect there's a deal with WWF now?
No, I still didn't. I just thought Lawler was coming in for a shot. I really didn't. I was kind of oblivious to that kind of stuff. I really was, like I said, I mostly concentrated on my match. I tried not to get too involved in the other guys' matches. So when we did that spot, I really didn't think too much past that. You know, I didn't look too much into it. I mean,
in your dealings with Jerry, did you get a sense that he did really dislike ECW?
Yeah, he did. So did Vince. So did everybody. Everybody dislikes the competition, just like we disliked those guys until we worked with them. You know. Until you work with you know, the opposition or the opposing company, you kind of generally don't like them, you know.
So having said that, how was he in the locker? How was he perceived by the rest of the locker room?
Well, he's pretty much, he didn't come and dress with everybody. He came in dressed, and he came in right before he was supposed to do his spot. So like he wasn't like hanging around the dressing room all day like everybody else was. Like he just came in, did his thing, and then was gone. Which is okay, you know. I didn't want to hang around him anyways.
the way the finish happens, he's got you in the Taz mission, and it's his shoulders that are down. Did you feel that was kind of slipping on the banana peel?
Yes, but like if I was to bitch about it, I'd be hard to deal with. So I just went with it. Like he got me in like the Taz mission thing, right, and then pinned himself.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like it, but what can you do?
And then right around, minutes later, he's given another title as consolation. So he pins himself and then is given another belt.
Well, that's how you save a guy. Like you have him lose, then you have him a big win. That puts him right back where he was or higher.
But wasn't pinning himself the way to do that? And then on top of that, they gave him a belt. Did you think he was getting too much?
No, I don't think he was getting too much. He deserved it. He worked hard. He tried hard, and he had high expectations for himself. Okay. And like before that, he was just like Taz the Caveman. Then when he started calling me out for about a year, and I wouldn't answer his call outs or his when he called me out, he became himself. That's when he started saying, "Fuck this, fuck that." He wasn't acting. That was him. That's what made him. He was speaking from the heart. When he goes, "Fuck Sabu," he meant that. That wasn't planned. He meant that. And I agreed with him. Fuck Sabu.
Does Taz have an insecurity problem?
I don't think anymore. He did back then. We all did. I was afraid to miss a show. That's why I worked hurt so many times. I was afraid someone might take my spot or I might lose a step or something. So I never wanted to take a day off or submit that I was too injured to work. And a few times I was too injured to work, but I worked anyways. They didn't like each other. A lot of people Tommy Rich didn't like, and a lot of people didn't like Tommy Rich, but I always liked him because he was always straight with me. He wasn't an ass kisser and he wasn't a bullshitter, but he was a funny guy and he was a great worker. But he didn't hold back when he didn't like somebody. I got in a fight one time in the parking lot at ECW Arena, and it was me and Candido and Tammy. And Tammy started this fight with this girl. She wanted to move her car, but Tammy's car was blocking it, and she wouldn't move. She sat in her car and goes, "I'm not moving it for that fat bitch or nothing." And someone hit me with a beer bottle, and when the word got inside that we got in a fight, Tommy Rich was the first one to help. He was the first one out there beating people's ass. Him and Big Dick Dudley.
Well, that's old school, right? I mean, that's...
Well, a lot of guys are saying, well, Sabu's getting in a fight. It's too bad. Tommy Rich said, Sabu's getting in a fight. Boom, he's there. And so was Big Dick Dudley.
These guys in the locker room wouldn't have your back?
Well, they did, but someone had to lead. Tommy Rich was the first. Once someone starts leading, then the guys will follow, but nobody really wants to be the first. Tommy Rich wasn't shy about being the first. I didn't really know too much outside of what I was doing. And even what I was doing, I didn't know in advance very much what I was doing. Not until like usually the morning. Like in WWF now and TNA now, they tell you a few weeks in advance what you're going to be doing a few weeks later. With ECW, we really didn't know what we were doing until that morning or that afternoon of the show.
Gotcha.
Or sometimes even right up until the match. They say, okay, Paulie one time goes, do something amazing. I go, okay. He goes, what are you going to do? I go, I don't know. It'll come to me.
That was the instruction.
Yeah,
go
do something amazing. I said, okay, you got it.
In a day and age where everything is booked down to every word now, that's hilarious. That someone was.
That's unspeakable now. You can't do that now. If you do, you get fired. I'm tell you a story about Spicoli. I thought he was one of my best friends and one of the greatest workers. And we're in Japan for FMW, and he was such a great worker. The office loved him, but he always had to piss, and we're riding a bus with 20 other guys, so we had to keep stopping for him to piss. So finally, he got tired of telling them to stop, so he pissed in a bottle, right? So he pisses in a bottle, then we pull up to a truck stop to go to the bathroom. He doesn't go out. He pours it out the window, and I go to the bus driver. He's a Japanese guy. I go, look, he's pissing out the window. But I was joking. He was pouring the piss out the window. So he got him fired. So he got fired from FMW because of me. So I got him hired in ECW because I wanted to because I felt bad for him.